1:15 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. It's edited by Romesh Piris and read by Geethanjali Ramnaikar. The headlines. The President proposes a dedicated program to support tropical countries deal with climate change at the 3rd Belt and Road Initiative International Forum. The Prime Minister says all parties must discuss changing to a mixed electoral system. The State Minister of Finance says Sri Lanka is close to reaching a vital staff-level agreement with the IMF to get funding. The DMC reports over 9,000 in 12 districts affected due to the inclement weather. The Minister of Transport and Highways says Sri Lanka needs to go beyond infrastructure development with China. Farmers urged to be vigilant over leptospirosis with the upcoming Maha paddy cultivation season. International news: US vetoes UN resolution calling for humanitarian pause in Israel-Hamas war. Sports: Cricket World Cup 2023, New Zealand continue unbeaten run after thrashing Afghanistan. News in detail. President Ranil Wickremesinghe has emphasized that the world's most biodiverse regions are found in tropical countries, and he proposed the launch of a dedicated program to support these nations in addressing future climate change challenges. President Wickremesinghe highlighted that 80% of the world's endemic plants, as well as 50% of all coral reefs and mangroves, are located in tropical regions. President Wickremesinghe stated that he is actively working towards the establishment of an international university focused on climate change, capitalizing on these unique ecological. The head of state made these remarks during his address at the high-level conference Green Silk Road for Harmony with Nature, held at the China International Conference Hall in conjunction with the 3rd Belt and Road Initiative International Forum. Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena invited all parties, including the opposition leader, to come to a discussion seeking the opinions of parties represented in Parliament regarding the proposal presented to the Cabinet to change the parliamentary election to a mixed electoral system. The Prime Minister made his request after a statement made by opposition leader Sajith Premadasa in Parliament on Wednesday that he would not participate in the discussion. The Premier said that the proposal to change the parliamentary election system to a mixed voting system is presented in good faith according to the mandate of the people, and the people are waiting for this. He added that there will be no cancellation of elections. Moreover, the Premier informed Parliament today C.D. Wickremaratne can function as acting IGP continuously till the end of the month until a new IGP is appointed. Meanwhile, Speaker Mahinda Abeyewardene informed the Parliament that Samagi Janabalwegaya parliamentarian Ajith Manaperuma will be ejected from House today. The Speaker also stated that the MP will be suspended from Parliament for 4 weeks due to his unruly behaviour within the Parliament. Earlier, the Speaker had adjourned the Parliament proceedings for 10 minutes following heated arguments in the chamber during the ongoing debate. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
Cherished companion of microfinance banking, Samurdhi Community Bank.
State Minister of Finance Shehan Semesinghe has confirmed that Sri Lanka is close to reaching a vital staff-level agreement with the International Monetary Fund to obtain funding. He said authorities are also assessing debt restructuring terms from foreign holders of Sri Lanka's dollar bonds. The move will help unlock another tranche of $3 billion package from the IMF supporting recovery in the country after a default last year. Sri Lanka has been pushing to agree terms for restructuring debt owed to China, India, Paris Club and foreign bondholders to bring indebtedness down to levels the IMF finds acceptable. Minister of Transport and Highways Bandula Gunawardena says in order to further develop the strong relationship between Sri Lanka and China, steps must be taken to go beyond infrastructure development. Addressing the 29th ITS World Congress Ministerial Conference in China, held in conjunction with the One Belt, One Road or OBOR Forum for International Cooperation, Minister Bandula Gunawardena noted that China has made a unique contribution to Sri Lanka's socio-economic development by completing a number of projects for the upliftment of infrastructure such as transport, water, electricity, ports, etc. across the country. The minister stated that under the OBOR program, many unique opportunities have been created for a number of projects for the development of infrastructure in many countries. He added that with that aim, since 2015, China has been offering more than 1,200 opportunities for scholarships, training programs and internships to Sri Lanka every year. The Lady Ridgeway Hospital for Children Director Dr. G. Vijaysurya confirmed one baby among the sextuplets born at the Women's Hospital Castle Street, Colombo, has died. He said the baby died due to bleeding in his lungs. The child was admitted to LRH on Sunday and the child weighed 620 grams on admission. Dr. Vijaysurya said that the child was considered premature and extremely underweight. Complications that such a child may face are very high. The birth weight of the child in Sri Lanka should be around 2.5 kilograms. And the weight loss of a child causes complications in the growth of organs, including the lungs, the doctor added. And that ends local news for now.
Your closest ally in microfinance banking. The front runner in uplifting low-income households, extending a hand to those aspiring to thrive. Your very own financial institution, Samurdhi Community Bank, with a presence of 1,089 branches throughout the island. Your closest ally in microfinance banking. Your steadfast financial partner, Samurdhi Community Bank.
The main news story is brought to you by Sinhala Veda.
The Disaster Management Center reports that at least 2 people have been killed while nearly 9,000 individuals have been affected due to the inclement weather in several districts. As per its situation report, a total of 8,974 people from 2,373 families in 6 districts have been affected so far. The districts include Ratnapura, Badulla, Gampaha, Matra, Gaul and Kandy. Moreover, 2 individuals have also become victims to the adverse weather conditions. The report further states 1,152 houses have been partially damaged due to flash floods and strong winds. And that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Sinhala Veda.
On to Watchlight. Epidemiology Unit Consultant Community Physician Dr. Tushani Dabarera said farmers and those engaged in agriculture should be vigilant against the spread of the leptospirosis flu with the upcoming paddy cultivation season. In the weekly media briefing at the Health Promotion Bureau, she said leptospirosis, identified as being spread by rats and mice during rainy season and during the upcoming Maha paddy season, is caused by urine released into waterways and polluted water. Dr. Dabrera said that around 8,000 leptospirosis patients are identified annually and 125 deaths are reported due to the infectious flu. She underscored the need to manage waste and make sure to take precautions such as using proper safety gear and filtered drinking water and consult the nearest physician if any symptoms are shown. And that came to you in Watchlight. Now moving on to a bulletin of world news in the headlines. U.S. vetoes UN resolution calling for humanitarian pause in Israel-Hamas war. China Xi warns West against economic decoupling. And the UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak arrives in Israel. The United States has vetoed the United Nations Security Council resolution that would have condemned Hamas' attack on Israel while calling for a pause in the fighting to allow humanitarian assistance to Gaza. The U.S. was the sole vote against the resolution on Wednesday, with 12 members voting in favor and Russia and the United Kingdom abstaining. The U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, Linda Thomas-Greenfield, told the Council after the vote that we are on the ground doing the hard work of diplomacy and believe to let diplomacy play out. The Brazil-drafted text would have condemned violence against all civilians, but the U.S. said that it did not do enough to underscore Israel's right to self-defense. The U.S. has typically exercised its Security Council veto to shield Israel from critical resolutions. Chinese President Xi Jinping has warned Western states against decoupling from his country's economy, insisting amid declining foreign investment that China's development should be viewed as not a threat, but as an asset. Xi's caution came as he opened the Belt and Road Initiative Forum in Beijing on Wednesday. He also used his speech to laud the scheme, which was launched 10 years ago, with the professional aim of building infrastructure and energy network to link Asia, Africa and Europe. British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has arrived in Israel, where he is expected to press for humanitarian aid to be delivered into Gaza as soon as possible. His visit comes right after President Biden, as world leaders step up efforts to prevent the conflict with Hamas spilling into a wider region. Mr. Sunak is due to meet Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu today before visiting other regional capitals. He will offer his condolences for the civilians killed so far during the war. Meanwhile, Foreign Secretary James Cleverly will meet leaders in Egypt, Turkey, Qatar in the coming days to seek support for a peaceful resolution in Israel and Gaza. More than 3,000 people have been killed in numerous airstrikes against Gaza by the Israeli military. At least 7 British nationals have been confirmed dead following the attack on Israel. The government, 9 more UK nationals remained missing. Back to the headlines of the world news. US vetoes UN resolution calling for humanitarian pause in Israel-Hamas war. China's Xi warns West against economic decoupling. And UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak arrives in Israel. And that ends world news.
Development news.
Minister of State for Fisheries P.R. Nishanta announced the development of a specialized investment zone in the northern province which will be tailored to fishing industry. This strategic endeavour aims to attract investments related to fisheries sector, fostering economic growth and generating substantial employment opportunities for the citizens. Furthermore, State Minister underscored the proactive measures that have already been initiated to combat the fishing mafia. The minister made these remarks during a press briefing held at the Presidential Media Centre under the theme Collective Path to a Stable Country recently. He further said that to coincide with this year's World Fisheries Day, Dalarapela, a series of programs will be held from the 19th to the 21st of November with a specific focus on the northern province to establish a dedicated investment zone for the fishing industry. And that was development news. Now moving on to sports. ICC Cricket World Cup. New Zealand continued their winning run in the World Cup with a thumping 149-run win over Afghanistan in Chennai. The Black Caps slipped from 109 for 1 to 110 for 4, but were revived by a stand of 144 between Glenn Phillips, who made 71, and captain Tom Latham's 68. Mark Chapman's 12-ball 25 the 40th over before propelled New Zealand to 288 for 9. The bowlers then completed a clinical performance and Afghanistan were all out for 139 in reply. The margin of victory boosts New Zealand's net run rate significantly and takes them to the top of the table above India, who are also unbeaten, having played 1 game fewer. The Black Caps' next match is against India in Dharamsala on Sunday. Meanwhile, in other sports news, winger Mark Talea is back in New Zealand's side for All Blacks Rugby World Cup semi-final against Argentina. The 26-year-old was dropped for the quarter-final victory over Ireland after a breach of team protocol. And that was sports news.
Shakti. Refresh your mind and body. Shakti Energy Drink. 350 rupees only. Available at island-wide leading groceries and supermarkets. Shakti. Taste the power.
Go ekak thiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු ගීන හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
In business news, Gamer.lk has announced the 8th edition of its Inter-University Esports Championship 23, powered by SLT Mobitel. The championship will revert to its in-person format scheduled for October 28th and 29th at Race Expert City, Maradana. Open exclusively for students from Sri Lanka universities and higher education institutions, this event has evolved into a much-anticipated highlight in the local university sports calendar. Last year, over 1,200 students representing more than 60 universities participated in the online championship. Esports in Sri Lanka provides a range of specialized products designed to cater to the gaming community. And that was Business News.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekak tiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු හීන හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න
The all-new NSB Ithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
On to economic news. Sri Lanka's central bank has bought $83 million from commercial banks through its PEG, resuming net dollar purchases after 3 months, official data show. There were no sales in September. Under an international monetary fund program, the central bank has to collect foreign reserves by intervening in the forex market, which requires deflationary open market operations. A reserve collecting central bank which cuts rates and enforces them with liquidity injections trigger a balance of payments deficit. The central bank sold dollars in the previous 3 months, assisting banks cover their short positions after a debt exchange, keeping the exchange rate broadly stable. And that was economic news.
Weather report.
The Department of Meteorology says the prevailing rainy condition over the island is expected to continue further. The Met Department added showers or thunder showers will occur over most parts of the island in the afternoon. Fairly heavy showers above 75 millimeters can be expected at some places in the western, northwestern, southern, central and eastern provinces. Meanwhile, the general public has been requested to take adequate precautions to minimize damage caused by temporarily localized strong winds and lightning during thunder showers. And that was the weather report. Prior to concluding this news broadcast, the headlines once again. The President proposes a dedicated program to support tropical countries deal with climate change at the Third Belt and Road Initiative International Forum. The Prime Minister says all parties must discuss changing to a mixed electoral system. The State Minister of Finance says Sri Lanka is close to reaching a vital staff-level agreement with the IMF to get funding. The DMC reports over 9,000 in 12 districts affected due to inclement weather. The Minister of Transport and Highways says Sri Lanka needs to go beyond infrastructure development with China. Farmers urged to be vigilant over leptospirosis with the upcoming Maha paddy cultivation season. International news, US vetoes UN resolution calling for humanitarian pause in Israel-Hamas war. Sports Cricket World Cup 2023, New Zealand continue unbeaten run after thrashing Afghanistan. And with that, we end this news broadcast from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. And it's back to Victor Raj on the other side to continue with the rest of the programs.